And what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive man or a defensive man? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. If he's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous waters. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door,
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play a game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess. I keep forgetting when I'm in love anymore. I keep forgetting.
All right. So we got episode 6 of the Blue Collar Intellectual Podcast. We have Dr. Darrell Scott here today. Doctor just started a new show, and he is the head of Trump's Black Advisory Board. Been working with the Trump administration for a few years now, and you've been friends with him for you said over a decade.
Well, close to a decade. Close to a decade. He and I've been friends nearly a decade.
And you got a church in, was it Cleveland, right?
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah, my old church is in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the area. So, how you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm out here. I'm out here, man. I'm chilling. I'm trying to do as less as possible and try to maximize. Yeah. I'm trying to maximize my moment while minimizing my activity at the same time.
There you go. There you go. I think we're all trying to do that.
Yeah.
So, how? Tell us a little bit about your show, real quick. You said you had it's Smack Talk, right?
Yeah, well, Smackdown. That's the name of the show.
Smackdown. That's right. That's right.
It's on the Real America's Voice Network. Rob Siggs is the owner. Is the same gentleman that owns the Weather Nation channel, and it's interesting because I had been on the network before as a guest on Dr. Gina Loudon's show. Gina is a very, very close friend of mine, and I had been a guest on her program before. And I was at home one day and I got a call. And no, actually, on Twitter earlier that day, I saw Gina post some pictures that she was at the White House. And I actually pressed like on them. And she was at the White House meeting with the president. A couple of hours later, my telephone rang and it was her. And I said, hey, Gina, I'm just hitting like on your thing. What's up? She said, well, we were at the White House and we were telling the president about the launch of our new network and asking for his support because he's a longtime friend of hers as well. And she said, we showed him the entire brochure we put together, the programming package, and all of the dynamics regarding the network. And we asked him, would he help us? Would he agree to come on sometime and give us a push and a boost? And he looked at it, and this is what she said. She said he looked up and said, where's Darrell Scott at? And she said, what? He said, I'll do it under one condition. You give Darrell Scott a program. And so Gina called me and offered me the program, and I thanked her for it. And I called the president and thanked him for that recommendation. And so then, a couple of weeks later, I went to D.C. and sat down with them in the studios so we could go over what type of format it would be. And I told them, I said, look, I'm not going to get on here trying to be a knockoff or a clone of any of these other guys. I recognize who I am or what I am. I know my strengths. I try to, at this age, I should be able to recognize my weaknesses and recognize what I am and am not. And I said, I'm not a pundit. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a broadcast news person. I'm not going to try to delude myself into thinking I am such. I know some of my friends that because of the fact that we were called to do media hits on the different networks, the CNN, the Foxes, the MSNBCs, they began to think of themselves that they were one of those guys. But I never thought like that. I said, so, if I do something, it's going to have to be different. I need to be myself and do what I do best. But I don't want to be in that same format that, the regular newscasters are on. And so while I'm there, I've got my business partner with me, Kareem Lanier. And he was joking around, having fun. And he said, man, what's my job going to be? What am I going to do? And I said, your job is going to be just to sit down and talk smack with me. And when I said that, the light bulb went off. I said, that's the name of the show. First, we're going to call it Smack Talk. Then I said, I don't want to call it Smack Talk. And we thought the Smackdown would be a good title for it. And to be honest, that's basically what we do. We get on. It's totally unscripted, totally unedited. It's live. And to be quite honest, I really don't know what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and we start talking. We just start shooting the crap, man, and shooting the breeze and talking smack. And whatever comes out, it is what it is.
Those are the best.
That's how it's.
Those are the best kinds of conversations. Those are the best conversations, though, because they're real.
Some media.
Can you hear me? Can you catch me now?
I'm not getting you. It's breaking up a lot.
All right, let me see. Plugged in there.
Might be because of my end. Let me try. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I took the headphone out. Maybe it's the headsets that were giving us problems. Am I coming through without them?
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
It's still breaking up.
Let me check real quick. Let me see what it is.
Good now.
Okay, let me turn this up then. I think it's my gain was too low.
Let me pull these out. All right.
But you know what, the ad-lib, straightforward, straight off the cuff conversations are always the best conversations. It always turns out that real content, and it lets people see a little bit deeper than what they would normally get. To be honest, that's one of those things. That's one of the things that gravitated me towards you. And I've known, like, I studied Trump a long time ago. I've heard of you prior to him running for office, but I never started to look deeper, and I didn't get on Twitter until a couple months ago. I was actively trying to avoid it, just because of how toxic it gets. And it gets toxic real quick, but yeah,
it gets real toxic.
To be honest, that's one of the cool things is you get to see some people get real on Twitter. You get to see who they really are, and then you have other people that get on Twitter and they're completely different people. You are exactly on Twitter how I would picture you to be in person, and even right now. You are same as you are on Twitter. Like that long round of like 3 days of talking smack on Twitter. That was great. I was like, man, this is a real guy. This is a guy you can have a real conversation with. And you don't find that much these days, especially like. I mean, punditry, TV, talk shows, any of it. You don't find a whole lot of people that can have real conversations and will shoot the shit and call it like it is.
Yeah.
So.
You're absolutely right. And, I don't know. A lot of people are very self-conscious. I think I'm too old to be self-conscious these days. I mean, everybody has a certain degree of self-consciousness. But, some people aren't comfortable in front of cameras or they're not comfortable dealing with people. When I first got on Twitter, I hesitate to be active on Twitter. People in my church signed me up for it and said, Pastor, you need to be on this. But I wasn't very active until I got involved with President Trump. And I look up and I'm all these coons and Uncle Toms and all of this stuff. And, to be quite honest, and here's what a lot of my critics don't understand. A lot of that stuff is funny to me. I just don't let them know it's funny. I mean, you wake up in the morning and it's the dancing raccoons and it's Buckwheat and it's Sam Jackson of Django and stuff like that. They don't understand. My feelings don't get hurt, and I even told my church that. I told my church that before, years ago. I said, y'all got to understand the type of personality I have. I don't get hurt. I don't get wounded. I don't get depressed. I get pissed. So the most response you'll get out of me is anger. You're either going to get anger or you're going to get laughter. I'm pretty much never in between. And so a lot of the things that people put on Twitter make me laugh. And you know what I find funny? You know, I start going old school. I started to go old school N-word on them, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to come back, and they come on, you a coon. Then I come back, your daddy a coon. Now they're offended. How can you be a pastor and talk to me like that? Okay, if you know I'm a pastor, how you talking to me like that?
Exactly.
If you know I'm a pastor, then respect that. If you don't want to respect that, if you don't want the pastor, you want the nigga, then skip it. I give you the nigga. If that's what you want, if that's what makes you happy. And you know what kills me? Oftentimes when I come back and hit them harder, they'll wind up blocking me.
Yeah.
You come over and assault me, and then you block me because I clap back harder. And that's one of the things about Trump. You know, when I first met him, he said something. He said, "Hey, man, I'm a counter puncher." He said, "I very rarely hit first, but I'm going to hit back, and I'm going to try to hit back harder than the first hit."
Yeah. Hey, that's my style too. I don't like to hit first, but I have no problem hitting back. Yeah. To be honest, I caught one of your clapbacks. Somebody came at you. I thought it was awesome. I'm like, I'm the same way. I get those names. I mean, I get them less now than I used to when I was younger and shit. But
I don't get them much anymore. I haven't. You know one thing, though, I'm gonna be honest. After Trump got elected, I told him, I say, man, I got some clear objectives for this next 4 years. He said, what's that? I said, I got to help get that racist off of you and get that Uncle Tom off of me. So that's one of the main reasons we're going to go hard for black folks. We're going to get that racist off of you, and I got to get that coon and that Uncle Tom off of me. Because I got kids and I got grandkids that they don't need to be suffering repercussions because of what I do. And so we're going to get it off. And to be quite honest, I very rarely get the coon and Tom anymore because people can tell as the more they've gotten to know me and see me during these past 4 years, they say that guy ain't he ain't no sellout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, see, that's one of the things I saw. Two different demographics of thought-wise of black people in the Trump administration, and I know we had talked about this before, and I had talked to George Farrell about this too. I saw people like you and like Jerron Smith and stuff like that, and I saw a different mode of thought like Paris Denard, and then unfortunately where I thought originally was in between the two of you guys. I thought like, all right, you got a different thought process here, and then Candace Owens and the Brexit movement showed up, and I was like, well, she seems to talk shit like Dr. Scott, but then her talking points are like Paris Denard. I don't know what to make of this. And I was like, all right, let's see how this works out. And I see you and Paris Denard working your own angles at the same issue. And I see Candace Owens is kind of not being a productive part of it, sort of hanging back, but having her own angle. I'm trying to be nice.
Hey man, let me tell you something.
But in the real, I went to that last Brexit rally at the White House. I was not impressed, not by any means. I got there and it was not because I never been a part of Brexit or anything like that, but I wanted to have an idea. I had my mind of what I thought it was, but I wanted to get a better look at it before I passed judgment. Because I'm a big fan of doing my research before I make a decision on whether a movement or a person is worth looking into or supporting. And I want to go and see it for myself. And I saw nothing. The only thing of value that I saw was energy. I saw raw energy. I just didn't see it being used for anything productive. And I met a lot of people there that were first timers too, and they had the same assessment that it was just they were expecting something different.
Well, you know, I had my issues with the movement from the very beginning. The Candace and I are or were friends. I mean, she's probably mad at me, but I'm not upset with her. It's just, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible where the Apostle Paul says, "About therefore become your enemy, because I tell you the truth." And to a lot of people, they don't
Yeah.
want to look at the truth. Their truth is the truth as far as they're concerned. But
Yep.
that movement was always flawed. First of all, I didn't like the messaging. I told her. I went to the headquarters at the RNC and told them, and I told the West Wing, I don't like that messaging. I said, I don't like that whole plantation slavery connotation for those that are in the Democratic Party. And I broke it down this way. A lot of times I'll pop off, and people will take the pop off and run with the pop off. But let me tell you something about me. If I pop off, I've got some substance behind it. Behind their headline, there's a body. And I would tell them, I said, listen, if Trump got 8% of the black vote back in 2016, that means 92% of the black vote went to Hillary Clinton. I said, then that means 92% of black academia, black intelligentsia, black entrepreneurs, black self-employed, black whatever, school teachers, firemen, police, whatever. 92% of black people voted Democrat. Now, I can't say they're dumb and they're stupid and they're slaves on a plantation simply because they didn't vote the same way that I vote. I said, we're not going to insult them over into this. And then I talked to Jared Kushner. And I told Jared, I said, let me ask you a question. If we start saying any Jewish person that didn't vote for Trump was in a concentration camp or a Holocaust, how would the Jewish community feel about that? They wouldn't like it. I said, well, let me tell you something. The plantation was our concentration camp and slavery was our Holocaust. So I don't like that crap. No one can ever say they heard me use that connotation, and I didn't like it. And I told Candace she needs to stop using it. And of course, she's hard-headed. She didn't want to stop. She didn't stop using it. And another thing I said was this. You're saying Blexit to where? You want to pull these people to exit from the Democratic Party to what? To where? To the Republican Party? Then give me a reason why. Don't just tell me I should vote the way you vote and I'm dumb and stupid if I don't vote the way you vote. And then another thing I told her was this. I said, unless, and I said this to her, and I said it at the White House. I said it in front of her at the White House. I said it in front of powers to be at the White House in front of her, and she got pissed off. But I said, unless you're tracking, unless you can show me some tangible, visible results that these are people that were Democrats, that after encountering you, they switched over to being Republicans or conservatives. Unless you can show me that, then you ain't doing nothing but blowing smoke up our ass. That's all you doing. Are you having voter registration or something attached to that so you can track statistically your success or failure? Are you simply telling us, are you simply taking these same group of people and shuffling this same 200 people from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting? And it's like, at my church, I have evangelists, and they will go out and they will have different meetings. They come back and say, well, this many people got saved, this many people got filled with the Holy Ghost, this many people joined the church. Okay, you got to show me these people. Produce them. Don't just keep telling me what you did, but we don't see the fruit of it. And that's what we got. And of course, she didn't take it because the movement was personality based. It was based upon her more so than the movement itself. And now here we are. What's going on with it now? Did it die with the election?
It sounds like she's got it sounds like she's got a mega grift going on, because that's what it sounded like to me. I looked at it. I look at everything from a business and marketing perspective, which is basically, I mean, for people in the culture, that's your rap. That's that pitch when you, I keep saying that the plantation talking points would be the equivalent of trying to, you got the best product in the world, and your product is your ideas, your solutions, your principles. You got a Ferrari that you're giving away for $1,000. No payments, no nothing, just $1,000. But you walk up to somebody that drives on your lot, and he wants to hear what you got to say, but you insulted him and called him a fat loser for driving a Toyota Prius onto the lot.
Right.
Well, he ain't waiting around to find out how much that Ferrari is. He already got in his car and left. He'll ride that jalopy until it dies rather than talk to you because you made him feel like he's not worthy of being in your presence. You belittled him.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Black people hate her. The black masses do not like her. Her message appeals to white people. She
Yeah.
says the thing, and I told them, I said, listen, she's good to rally the base. You need somebody to rally the base and to speak to the black Trump supporters and make the black Trump supporters or black Republicans feel good about being black Republicans. She's good for that.
Yeah.
But as far as going out getting us new converts, that ain't gonna happen. Pulling in votes, that's not gonna happen. And
no, the people they should have chose for that would have been Sonny Johnson.
She says things a lot of times that white people want to say or white people like to hear.
But can't.
And they can't say it, but they like to say it, or they want to hear it being said. And it's something it's a message they can identify with, because, you know, she makes it a point to reference the black community as something that she's not a part of, something that she's outside of, and that she addresses as they and them instead of we and us. And so to me, it was a counteractive measure, a counteractive movement that probably hurt us in the voting statistics more than it helped. I believe, you know, because I'm just saying, it's a lot of black folks that's like, hey, man, you know, because what comes out of her mouth, they would equate that with coming out of Trump's mouth.
Exactly.
Here's another thing. The one thing I never tried to do was, quote unquote, build a brand off of Trump. Me coming out of the church world and understanding authority, when in the church world, I've been pastor of my church for 27 years. I've been a Christian for almost 40 years. I understood that my goal was to edify and build up the entire church. And as a result, whatever church I served in, the leadership would automatically be edified. I never tried to outshine my leader. I didn't try to take, you know, and so I never tried to brand myself outside or over and above the president. And I can remember we were in a meeting one time, and the president, as gracious as he always is, he said, y'all go around the room, the media is here, and introduce yourself to the media. And I've been in 1,000 of those before, so when it got to me, I simply said, Darrell Scott, I'm here. And a lot of people went around the room. Some were there for the first time. They introduced themselves. Well, when it got to her, she said, in introducing herself, she said something. I was like, man, this chick tripping. She said, I'm the Republican Party's I'm the Democratic Party's worst nightmare. That's what she said out of her mouth. I'm the Democratic Party's worst nightmare. And she went on to give us, and I said, you sit next to the Republican president of the United States, the leader of the Republican Party, but you're the Democratic Party's worst nightmare, not him. You know one thing, no.
Now, if she had came with a different message, I mean, you know what?
Older,
I would need
some of this. I really believe when she gets older, she'll look back and the older Candace will want to go back and tell the younger Candace that you should have said something else or made some different statements.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say with age. I'm going to say with just sheer life experience. Like I'm a Marine, and I got my fair share of. I define an adult as somebody that's hit rock bottom and made it back. So, I don't think she's been there yet, based on her actions. However, I look at the things that could have been done. That energy that she had, the boldness of going to universities, which is the bluest of blue in deep blue cities. I was like, all right, okay, this could actually yield some results. But then I noticed that her arguments never leveled up. They never went to that next level where it passed the talking points and the you don't know the facts, and then the berating the Democrat Party. And I'm like, if you're trying to make a sale, no salesman tries to make a sale off of anything by just bashing the competition, because you didn't actually sell your product. And I see it as two ways to sell your product for anyone. And it doesn't matter what your product is, product, service, whatever. There's two ways to sell your product. You start out with selling yourself, then you sell your product. If you can't sell yourself, you ain't getting to sell your product. And if you start out selling your product, you're going to lose it on the fact that the person doesn't trust the person standing in front of them. And that's where I think she put herself.
And you know what? You don't make your light shine brighter by putting out somebody else's. You actually just create more darkness. If you're 100 watts and I'm 100 watts and I put you out, I don't go up to 200 watts. I stay at the 100 that I was at. And you know, one thing I made it a point to say, and I said this at the RNC, I said this in the Oval Office, I said this in the West Wing. I said, no matter what side of the political spectrum I'm on with other members of the Black community, our Blackness still connects us. And there's a connectivity in being Black. It don't matter whether we Democrat or Republican or what. It's still a connectivity. There's a connection there. That's why I have a lot of Democrat friends that I didn't lose. I have there are a number of Democrat congressmen that I'm great friends. Marsha Fudge and I are very close friends. And we can talk and we can laugh and we can joke. And she was the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, and I'm rolling with Trump. And her and some others of ours, that we're still Black at the end of the day. And we're still mature enough to say, the Bible says, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, the things, and render unto God the things that are God. We had a side of us for politics that even if we didn't agree politically, we weren't going to allow that to cause us to be hostile one to another and hate one another. It's no different than not agreeing on the same sports team. You want the Steelers, I want the Browns. Hey, but when the game is over, we still got to go back being who we are. And I don't think she was able to make that distinction. That, hey man, look, I'm not gonna hate my people for anybody, for any politics. Now, I will say some folks is dumb, but if I'm gonna hate you, I'm gonna hate you on an individual basis, not on a collective basis.
Now, I only see those sort of statements that came from her, and the Bloods of Tears, and all that grifter magic that was going on, coming from people that live outside the community. They don't have an attachment to the community. Like, personally, I love hip hop. I love the culture. I love the music. I love the clothes. I've been steeped in it ever since I was like little. I mean, I'm like everything Black culture. I love Motown, jazz, old school big band music, blues. I love it all. Like 3 Mo tenors even. So I'm like, so when I hear somebody make a statement like they don't love the culture and they blame the culture for everything, I see a person that obviously doesn't know the culture and sees no value in it. And that is not a person that can message to the Black community. And if that's the person that we put up the forefront, we already lost the battle.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, once again, it's a message that resonates not with our people, but with another certain group of people. You know, there are some people that say, you know, I'll give an example, and I tend to be pretty blunt. What you see on Twitter with me and what you see on Smack Talk with me, that's the same me that's in the Oval Office when I'm sitting around with the White House staff. And, you know, it's just certain things that we told them. I said, listen, the problem is, and I said this with the president in the room, I said, y'all keep trying to put a white face on Black problems. I said, that's what the problem is. I told Jared Kushner, and we got into a heated debate, but he and I are great friends. I said, Jared, if you'd have sent me and my partner Kareem, I said, if you'd have sent Kareem and I to negotiate that truce between the Jews and the Palestinians, both sides would have had a problem with it. The Jews would have been like, you send this nigga in here for. And the Palestinians would be like, you send this nigga in here. He can't speak to us. I said, the problem with y'all trying to get white people to solve our Black problems the white way. And it don't work like that. And so we had a conversation with them prior to the creation of the Platinum Plan. And we said, which that wasn't our idea to even call it like that. We wanted to call it economic justice and economic reform. Economic justice and reform. But anyway, we said, listen.
How did it get the name the Platinum Plan?
That's another story. It is what it is. I said, Black people, this is what we told them. We said, Black people want the same thing white people want. They said, what? I said, we don't want y'all giving us no programs. We don't want y'all doing this. We want the same thing white people want. They said, what? We said, money. We want money. Same way y'all want money. I said, y'all want to fix our problems? Y'all don't know how to fix our problems. Give us enough money to fix our own doggone problems. I said, that's what it is. Y'all want to give us everything but money. You want to give us some cheese. You want to give us some food. You want to give us this. You want to give us that. Give us the money or make that money available to us. We'll fix our own problems because the majority of the problems in the Black community, think about this, are financially related. If you say drugs are a problem in the Black community, people selling drugs to get that money. If you say crime is a problem in the Black community, the majority of crimes that are committed, unless they're crimes of passion, are financially based crimes. I'm robbing you to get your money. I'm breaking in your store to get your money. So if we have the money, if we have the level playing field, if we have the economic opportunities, if we have the income levels, we won't have to sell dope. We won't have to rob. We won't have to steal. I said, so y'all keep trying to throw us some freaking bones when we just want the same opportunities that others are afforded so that we can, we can take care of our own problems. We're tired of y'all trying to solve our problems because y'all don't know how to solve our problems. Because there's some things white folks will never understand about Black people, but we understand it plain.
Yeah, it's like the left constantly talks about how we were divided from our heritage and divided from our culture. Personally, I disagree. Like I'm mixed. What I know about my Italian and Irish side of my culture doesn't change my life one way or the other. It really doesn't. Other than the fact that I eat copious amounts of pasta and I got some excellent recipes in my repertoire. However, I mean, I look at everything that I got heritage-wise, and I got a very, very rich heritage from the Black American side of my family, and I got I'm not going to say I didn't get heritage from the Italian and the Irish side of my family, but I get a very, very rich culture from Black American history, and I just don't understand the prospect of us being supposedly divided from our culture and not valuing that culture. And I see money as the solution. I mean, for example, in Georgia, they're trying to bring up the pro-life issue to the Black community, which is not even on the top 10 of issues that the Black community gives two shits about. And to be honest, damn near everyone I've spoke to admits that the driving force behind abortion in the Black community is money. If you have money, you have better opportunities. If you have money, you're paying taxes, which means you got better schools. If you have money, you can leverage the politicians that are in your city more effectively. And you have a better chance of pushing back against the lobbyists in the teachers' unions. Excess money flowing into your schools makes a better education, or I should say is supposed to contribute to a better education system. Obviously, money doesn't always buy quality. Sometimes there's a lapse there. However, money provides opportunity, and it provides parents the opportunity. If you're making enough money where you don't have to work two jobs, you can work one job and be able to help educate your kids and fill in the gaps of what they're not getting in the community. And I see I see bad education leading to bad opportunity leading to bad choices leading to illegal activity, and illegal activity leading to prison and incarceration or death. And if you happen to land in prison, it becomes a never-ending cycle because you get out and you repeat the process, because it's not necessarily about rehabilitation. It's more about punishment. And then you get out, and because you were in prison, you don't have opportunity, and it just keeps happening. So the recidivism, and you take fathers out of households too.
You're absolutely right. And once again, even when you said that about abortion, I believe one of the main reasons a Black woman will abort her child is because she feels she won't be able to take care of it or take care of it properly for lack of income. And even then, look at this. I hear those critics, some of the aforementioned critics that want to criticize our culture and talk about single parent homes. Well, wait a minute. The divorce rate in America is over 50%. Single parent homes are not always the result of wedlock. A lot of single parent homes are the result of divorce. And so if that be the case, if 50% of the marriages in America wind up in divorce, and it's probably more than 50%. I'm just using that as a conservative estimate. I remember when it was 50%. I don't know what the exact stat is. And we only make up 10% of the population. Then you're talking about there are just as many single-parent white homes as there are. There are more single-parent white homes than there are black homes that are the product of either wedlock or divorce. So you can't look at that and say that's something that's only endemic to the black community, that the blacks are the only ones that have single parent homes. When every culture in this melting pot of America, everybody has single parent homes. Once again, because it can be because of wedlock, it can be because of divorce, whatever. But don't criticize and castigate us for that. Don't act like we're the only ethnic group in America that doesn't care about their kids. You understand what I mean? There are just as many white fathers that are deadbeat dads, or that are just a check in the mail, that aren't in their family's life or whatever. And so you know, if you're going to be critical of behavior, then be honest and fair with the criticism of that behavior, and don't make it only one race's problems and not the problems of all the other races as well.
That's one of the issues that I think.
I love being black. I love going up to the. Let me tell you something. The way I walk outside, that's how I walk up at the White House. I love black culture. I love black swag. I love the fact that blacks are cool. Cool is something you can't describe it, but you know it when you see it. And you know, let me tell you one thing that's funny to me though. A lot of these same people that when you see them talking tough out here in these streets, I'm being honest, they get up there behind that iron gate, they get up there in that White House, and they turn into I don't want to use derogatory racial slurs, but they turn into it. I've seen them. Yeah. I've seen the best ones, I've seen the ones, and I've seen some that are bold out these streets, and they get back there and they get so passive and they get so weak. And they come out afterwards, and they'll even say to me, man, I can't believe that you talk up there like that. You talk to them white folks like that. You talk in front of them white folks like that. I can't believe you do that. And I say to them, I can't believe you don't do it. Yeah. I can't believe you don't do it. You see what I'm saying? Why would you? I'll be honest.
Watch this. I'll be honest. I'm a real dude. I know I'm very aware. You know how Ohio is, so you could live in the inner city, and then you could walk 10 steps to the right and be out into the middle of the damn countryside and not see another black folk for like fucking 50 miles. And but I will say, living in Dayton, I grew up on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. My parents were both, actually, my church was Living Word right outside of Wright-Patterson, and the airport is right down the street from Dayton Airport. And I did not know how to deal with white people outside of the church or outside of my own damn family, because I didn't grow up around a whole lot of white people. I mean, Dayton is a dark, dark city. Yeah. Now I come up here to New Hampshire and I'm like, fuck, I'm like one of 10 black people in the whole damn state. Now, like, the state has changed over the years. I mean, we got a lot of influx from down south moving up here, from New York and from Massachusetts and stuff, moving in from Boston, because we don't have any income tax up here, and they like that. So, and we're a constitutional carry state, so anybody that acts stupid gets shot. But we have no crime, so that's also a good thing. But I got used to when I was active duty, I was that dude that would say the wrong thing at the right time to the right person. It didn't matter if you were a general. It didn't matter if you were a general. If you walk over by the smoke pit and I got my cover off and I got my blouse off, I'm smoking a cigarette, and you come over and you talk, I'm not snapping to attention. I'm a poor, broke ass, lower ranking Marine. I cannot afford to be putting out a $15, $30 cigar. I'm not ruining my cigar, and I will talk to you like a normal person. If you ask me a question, I will not give you the politically correct answer that will make you feel good. I will give you the answer that you need to hear because you need to hear it. And ironically, that made the people directly over me that would get the ass chewing hate me, but it made the higher ups that I would speak to respect me for at least being honest, even when it's inconvenient, which I think is a value that something people should learn.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And that's once again being true to yourself and laying your head on your pillow at night and letting you know that you have, as the Bible says, the answer of a clear conscience before God. That, you know, no matter what people say, I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I did in my engagement with this administration, most of my work was policy based, in that I was adamant and emphatic about endeavoring to advance policy that can help the Black community. And that's what I have the answer of a clear conscience. You know, once again, I wasn't trying to build a brand over the last 4 years. Even with this television show and stuff, I didn't go looking for it. It came looking for me. I have no problem going. I have a successful church. I can go back past to my church. I love what I do, and I never stopped doing what I did. And I never conflated the two. I never talk politics in the pulpit. When I get up there, that's God's time. I never use that pulpit for politics, and I don't use politics for the pulpit. And so, but the thing is, I can honestly say that I endeavor to advance initiatives and policies that were proactive towards the Black community, that I sat on the prison reform boards, and I sat and negotiated with I contributed 27 pages to the First Step Act. I involved with the opportunity zones. We, the financial part of the Platinum Plan, we thought of that, we contributed that, and a number of other things that were beneficial towards the Black community that I can feel good about and know that that's what my desire was when I was there. I wasn't there trying to build my brand. I wasn't there trying to suck up to the president, because I don't have to suck up to the president. He and I are friends. We were friends before. We're still friends now. When we talk more on a friend basis, even though I respect him as president. We talk on a friend basis. You know, I sit on his spiritual advisory board. But once again, he and I are friends, and we say a lot of things that we talk about that I would never divulge, because we said it as friends. He and I still shoot the shit. You know, we shoot the shit with each other. Different things like that. And I can never divulge that, and I never would. And a lot of personal feelings he's divulged to me that I would never divulge. But the thing is, I can honestly say that when I went there, I tried to take the Black community in there with me and say, if I'm sitting at the table, we have a seat at the table, and we're going to try to get what we can get done to the best of my ability. And I didn't mind if people called me names, and I didn't never get frustrated and say, well, because of that, I'm not going to do anything for the Black people, or not try to do anything for Black people. That never did cross my mind. But because I knew what my mission and my mandate and my motivation was. Now, other people, I can't say the same thing for. You know, I see other people trying to build brand. You know, even I wrote a book. But man, they sweated me for 2 years about writing that book. And you know what I mean? And hey, they paid me to write it, and it was still another year before I did. They had to threaten to sue me, man. Where the book at? Because I just never was one to do that. I knew what my motivation in my heart was, to do what was best for the Black community and for the Christian community as well. I wanted to do what I could to enhance the Christian community. And so once again, I don't have any regrets as far as my activity is in just that. You know, and you talk about Darrell Smith, he and I work, but Darrell used to live on my street. Darrell is from Cleveland. Darrell lived on my same street when he was a little kid. But even when you talk about the dynamics of myself as opposed to Paris Denard and everything, to be quite honest, I'm old enough to be most of them folks' daddy. You know, so the older you get, the less filter you have. I mean, I just turned 62 years old today. And so, you know, hey, man, I'm comfortable in my own skin. And I would hope that by the time Paris and some others, you know, when they get, I've been self-employed since 1985. And so I've always been my own businessman. Other people that when it's their livelihood at stake as well, you know, and you have your livelihood is at stake, maybe you can't be as outspoken as others, you know, but Paris does advocate for the Black community, but he still has a job he has to do in his field of endeavor. I've been self-employed, so
Yeah.
I can pretty much call my own shots. So I can tell somebody, screw you. And I don't care. I don't need to do this, and I'm not getting paid for doing it. One thing people have to understand, I've never gotten a dime from Donald Trump or the Trump administration. I never asked for it, or the Trump campaign. I never asked for it and never received anything. So everything I did. And, here's the funny thing. People would tell me, well, you just doing it for the money. Man, I never got a dime from Trump. You didn't? No. Well, then you're stupid then. Okay, wait a minute.
You're not the one that...
I'm a sellout
Yeah.
if I get some money, and I'm stupid if I don't get some money. So which one is it?
Yeah, shit. In the circles on Twitter that I'm running in, we got jokes. If you're gonna grift, make sure you get that bag. I see a lot of people that were over there trying to grift that didn't get the bag, but they tried really, really hard. They strung themselves out there. I respect people that stand on principle. Like, I'm one of those dudes. I don't need to make people happy. I don't need to make people happy. I'm willing to burn it down to accomplish, to stick to my principles. I could care less, because no matter what, anything that I decide I will be good at, I will be good at. And by the grace of God, anything that I put my faith in and anything I put my effort into, I will be successful at, and I could give two shits who likes it.
Let me interrupt you right here with this, though. You said it right there, that you're a man of principle, man of kid. Now, you grew up in the church world, so you know church dynamics.
Oh, yeah. 5 days a week. Sang in the choir and everything.
My major disappointment in this whole process with Donald Trump, I was with him. If he was going to run in 2012, I was with him then. He decided to hold off till 2015. And so we were together then. My major disappointment has been the black preachers, though. And I'll tell you why. If I had a dime for every black preacher that told me they secretly liked Trump, they secretly supported Trump, but just they didn't, I can't come out there and different things like that, I'd be a rich man. And you know what I tell them? Yeah. I say, you know what? It's easy to talk tough. When you're in this building, you got the lead microphone, you got deacons, you got elders, you got security, you're the last word, you got a captive audience that you're out there. Or it's easy to talk tough and throw out all those biblical cliches. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm more than a conqueror through him that loves me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. It's easy to talk that stuff on Sunday morning. You get out in these streets and you got the prince of the power of the airwaves pointing cameras in your face. And you got hostile, liberal cameras from all these major networks stuck up in your face. We see how big your nuts are then. We see how much power and authority you have then, and 95% of them turn chicken. They turn tail and they turn scared. And for them to talk all that stuff, they're probably, to me, probably the most fearful, courageless group of people, because they're so afraid. They don't believe God, man. They don't trust God. They trust in people they got sitting out there. They're so afraid. Oh, my members will leave. My members will get me. People are going to talk about me. They're going to do me wrong. They're so afraid that they compromise their moral stance and they compromise their principles and convictions for the sake of butts in the seats. And that's the part that disappoints me. And they talk about me. Let me tell you something. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been pastor for 28 years. Every big preacher, every big black preacher in America, I know them personally. I got stories, and I know where the bodies are buried. I know the hidden secrets. I know who's the homosexual. I know who's the pedophile.
You know Reggie Dabbs?
Who?
Reggie Dabbs?
Reggie Dabbs, where's he out of?
If I remember correctly, I think he was out of I think he was out of Louisiana.
I know all those that are my generation.
I know he's.
There's a younger generation.
I think he's about I think he's about your age. He plays a saxophone, and he's got mad jokes, and he kind of looks like, you remember Bruce?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Bruce. I remember he came to my youth group once, and he got real. It made some people uncomfortable, but the message was there, and everybody got an epiphany walking out there that day. Yeah, it was good. It was good shit. I like I said, I grew up in church 5 days a week, and I don't understand the prospect of a man of faith that doesn't stand on principle. Because how can you stand on the word of God and for what you believe in if you will not stand up for single principle? To me, that says that when the time comes and you're asked to divulge them, you will.
Yeah.
That tells me that you have more in common with Judas than you do with anybody else, any of the other apostles. So that it hurts to see how many what I used to think were strong men bend the knee to social pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this
right.
as a trend right now. I'm seeing this as a trend right now. And
now they're trying
the biggest one that I'm seeing is the Pope. The biggest one I'm seeing is the Pope, where I'm like, now I'm not gonna lie, I take issues with the Pope itself, just the prospect of it, because
Popery. Hey, you know what though?
Yeah.
I like what President Trump said about him back in 2016. You know what he said? He said he's the worst Pope ever. He said he's the worst Pope ever. Yeah, he's the worst Pope ever.
I don't get it. I mean, just the concept of Pope, because I get this occasionally there is a person that deigns to make a religious argument to justify their politics at me, which I'm not the one, because I don't make religion, I don't use religion to justify my legal and political arguments, because I think the two are not synonymous. And I think you get into a situation where you immediately start to lose the people that you're talking to if they don't actually subscribe to that religion. And if you don't know if you're not a man of faith, you end up falling on deaf ears because there's just a lapse of understanding. So this individual made the comment to me that that Jesus said, giveth of your, I think it was, giveth of your wealth unto me, and I shall redistribute it, or something along those lines. I can't remember the scripture that he quoted, but it was something along the lines of, give all your wealth to me, and I shall give it back to you equally, or something like that. And I was like, hold up.
Well, so, in Luke 6,
and you're saying that
shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and run over.
That's
to give it to your bosom. That's Luke 6:36.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
You can't take it out of context.
Well, that's the thing is, first, even taking out of context, I was like, all right, just going with what you said, because I was like, I'm not going to look in the Bible for the actual scripture that you just quoted. I'm like, you didn't even give me the book and the page and everything. So I'm like, I'm just going to go just based off what you said. You're equating government to Jesus Christ, because he was trying to justify redistribution of wealth. I go, you just equated government to Jesus Christ. I go, when has there been a government or a man on earth that has been so infallibly benevolent as Jesus Christ, the visage of God on earth? And he was like, well, never. I go, so why would I treat government or a man as to be infallibly benevolent? And second, that sounds a whole lot like idolatry. You're putting the government on the level of Jesus Christ, which I would never do.
And he's twisted scripture. Jesus said, render unto Caesar. Caesar represented the government at that time. Give Caesar his and give God his. And what he was saying was make a distinction between the two. And even when what did Jesus say about the poor? He said, the poor you'll have always. You notice one thing I tell people. You didn't see Jesus going down multiplying bread and fish. He didn't say to his disciples, come on, guys, let's go down to the poor part of the homeless section of Jerusalem and multiply bread and fish, make sure everybody got fed. He multiplied bread and fish for the people that came and sat down and listened to him. And he only did it after he was finished preaching. He preached so long, he said, they must be hungry. They've been sitting here listening to me all this time. Then he fed the ones that came to him. He didn't just go out multiplying bread and multiplying fish just for everybody that was hungry. He didn't do that. People will always try to, you know what kills me? How people that aren't Christians try to tell me how I should be a Christian.
Yeah.
And it is. I've had a great time, but time flies, we having fun. But guess what? I got church tonight.
You got a sermon tonight.
Yeah, I got service tonight in just a little while, and I got to Yeah, and everything. I didn't realize we've been on here, and I could do this for hours with you. But can I come back and we finish at a
Hey,
future date?
we can chat. We can chat it up anytime. I got no problem having you on. It was a delight. Like I
This
said,
is a delight for me too. Usually these things,
and
it
happy
seems like we only
birthday.
been here for 5 minutes, and I looked up and said, "Wow, it's 6 o'clock."
That's how good conversation works. Happy birthday, by the way.
Tell your daughter I said the same.
Will do.
And
All right.
thank you for having me on. I owe you a favor, and I'm gonna have you come on with me. And we're friends, man.
Thank
Anything,
you.
if I can ever be a benefit or a blessing to you, as the Bible says, you have not because you ask not.
Exactly. All right. God bless,
God
sir.
bless you. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
You have a good one. All right. So that was the 6th episode of the Blue Collar Intellectual Podcast. We had Dr. Darrell Scott on, head of Trump's Black Advisory Board, a great individual to have a conversation with, and I hope you got an idea of the real that we were discussing tonight. I want you guys to get a look from somebody that was in the room and a part of the conversations, and get an understanding of there is not a universality of thought, neither in the White House nor in the Republican Party nor in any sector of life. It would not be fair to say all Democrats are socialists. They have their own thing going on in their own party. They have their own divide. If you're paying even a minuscule amount of attention to what's happening in politics today, you'd be able to see that. If you're looking at what's happening within the Republican Party, you're paying even a slight bit of attention, you'd be able to see that there's definitely not universality of thought. And there are good people and bad people on both sides of the aisle, and I think we need to worry about weeding out the bad people and bringing in more good people. In true fashion of Blue Collar Intellectual podcast, I would like to say that we need more blue collar intellectuals. We need more people who have read the material, who have an idea of our founding, who stand on principle and are willing to sacrifice to represent their local community or their state and federal government and their local and state governments. But we need to stop hiring, and I do say hiring because we are employing representatives to run for office that are typically from the exact same demographic that we always seem to be complaining about, and we expect different results, which seems to me like an act of insanity. If you want real change, you need to start looking at people who think in terms of problems and solutions and no longer think in terms of what they can get out of whatever situation that they're presented with. You need to start looking at teachers, firefighters, doctors, nurses, police officers, military veterans, plumbers, electricians, tradesmen of all sorts, businessmen, small business owners, restaurateurs. You need to start looking at people that live out here in the real world and don't live in the punditry and don't have conversations based on unfettered and unsubstantiated talking points, void of any historical context whatsoever. So I would like you guys to brew on that. We will definitely have Dr. Scott back. We will have more fire conversations, more guests coming up in the near future. Don't forget to tune in for Brown Paper Bag Podcast, Hotep Jesus, and don't forget to check out Sonny's Corner on Saturday at 1 p.m. To 3 p.m. on SiriusXM channel 125. Always a fire conversation. Check out a couple more honorable mentions like Maj Toure, Jeff on the Right, and Coach Felicia Killings, Sonny Johnson again on Twitter, Uncle Hotep, Hotep Jesus, Hotep Nebuchadnezzar, Miss Pinky, and many, many, many more within the space. God bless everyone. have a good day. And to all the Black Pac candidates that were that ran a great campaign that were unsuccessful this round, I hope you all run again, and I hope we can do this in this next round. God bless. Have a good night.
And what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive man or a defensive man? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. He's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door,
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play a game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess.